it should be hyper-focused on that one provision that has led to some issues in some cities and states.
What's going on, you guys? So we have the Vanguard calling out Ana Kasparian. Ana Kasparian has gone full Fox News mode. The Vanguard is covering the story. Let's get into it.
Go ahead and plow right into this. Stick around, everybody. We are about to have the Boston City Council president come by our show, Ruti Louis-Jean. She's going to talk to us about the sanctuary city policies and kind of debunk a lot of the things that Ana Kasparian's about to say. Now, we're not going to waste her time probably making her react line by line, so we can plow right into this video. Do you have anything to add from your perspective before we get into this Ana Kasparian nonsense solo hosting the show like she loves to do?
Yeah, I was watching live last night, and this is basically Fox News light, Fox News-esque, whatever you want to call it. It seems like a audition tape that somehow got released to the public, and really embarrassing stuff. I don't know how this got out there.
Where they were pressed on their city's sanctuary immigration policies. Now, this was something that was planned weeks in advance. I was very curious to see how this was going to play out, or more importantly, how these Democratic mayors were going to answer these questions. Because I'm going to be frank with you all, there are some concerns with how some of these sanctuary city laws are written. There are grounds for sanctuary city laws, in my opinion, that make sense, especially if we're dealing with a situation in which an undocumented individual is a victim of crime. They should feel comfortable reporting that crime without fear that they will be deported. That is an example.
And the Vanguard is playing one of 100 moments of what it seems like Ana Kasparian turning full conservative. She has turned heel. She is no longer an actual progressive.
Example of a sanctuary city law that lowers crime. That
sanctuary, but only for snitches in Anna's book.
That is incredibly important. But even though not every sanctuary state or city has the exact same law, some of them are written differently. There are some downfalls based on how some of these laws are written. And it really has to do with the fact that they just don't want to cooperate with, ICE or, the federal government when it comes to undocumented immigrants who have committed other serious crimes. ICE wants to deport them based on how some of these sanctuary city laws are written. The local police do not cooperate with.
Based. Huh? How about you say based? How about you say, you know what? Fuck ICE. How about you talk about how it's an illegal agency? How about you talk about how we don't have domestic terrorist spies in this country? How about you talk about how you either operate as a law enforcement officer, which I don't fucking believe in anyway, for just my 2 cents, right? But you know what those law enforcement officers are saying? We don't want these, weird spies from the federal government. We don't want these insane gang control individuals coming out here and working above the law and terrorizing our communities and making children feel unsafe. Are you fucking kidding me? There was an 11-year-old kid that killed themselves because of insane bullying and insane fear, okay, of ICE and deportations. That's the kind of hysteria. That's the kind of fear. That's the kind of terrorism that ICE is imposing on people. And yes, thank God, cities like Chicago, cities like Boston have said, we are not collaborating with ICE. I don't care if you're a cop. I don't care if you're a school teacher. I don't care if you're a nurse or a medic. Do not collaborate with ICE. And what Ana is doing is she's sitting here like Laura fucking Ingraham talking about how, oh, they want rapists to stay in jail in Boston and not be deported. Yeah, those people are in jail, i.e. they're off the street. They're not a threat to the people of Boston. And the reason they're not collaborating with the cops to get those people out of here is because then they would have to collaborate with the cops for everyone. Oh, you jaywalked? That means ICE can come and get you. Oh, you sped on your way to work so you didn't get fired? That means ICE can come get you. Oh, you're a day behind on your...
And here we have Karen Kasparian, who, again, she's just blaming the immigrants for everything. She's saying, oh, yeah, she wants all of these leaders to go along with ICE. She has basically been completely radicalized by the MAGA movement.
Your fucking taxes, ICE can come get you. Do you see how that starts to unravel, Ana? If you had a shred of compassion in your soul, you would have done your homework before you went and spread this bullshit to your audience of people, but you were trying to fence it on an issue that is cut dry and clear.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's ridiculous. And also, actually, from the perspective of law enforcement, sanctuary cities are a good thing because that way the law enforcement can actually connect with and talk to the immigrant community, people within the immigrant community. Those people will cooperate with criminal investigations if they start allowing ICE in and that line becomes blurred, then no one from the immigrant community is going to sit down with any of the police officers, any of the detectives or investigators to cooperate with any investigation, because all they're going to think is I'm immediately going to be deported. Any interaction with not just a police officer, but basically any city or government official will lead to my deportation. That's what you're going to put in those people's minds. So it actually greatly hurts the ability of law enforcement to carry out the investigations and to solve the crimes in the first place. What Anna's doing is just cherry picking instances where, some guy, got out and then committed another crime or something. So now we should all be scared. But that's really what's happening.
Pretty indistinguishable from what Dr. Phil did that we unpacked the other day, where he went on the ICE raid so that they could specifically target a guy that you brought up. Yeah, this guy was a criminal, but he was basically participating in a propaganda effort that was going to catch a lot of guys that were just working the lunch shift and trying to go back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
ICE or the federal government. And I think that's where the real issue is. And that's what this hearing's about. So I watched, the majority of the hearing today. I was very curious to see if there were going to, there's all these little rhetorical tricks. And it's so frustrating because it should be hyper focused on that one provision that has led to some issues in some cities and states. So with that in mind, the witnesses that were included in this hearing were Eric Adams of New York. Now
and also, I'm sorry to cut in one more time, but I think the elephant in the room is that TYT dedicates no time to the victims of ICE. They dedicate no time to the families that are going to be destroyed. They dedicate no time to humanizing the individuals.
If you guys are enjoying this recap, make sure to like and subscribe for more.
That live in fear of being terrorized. But she has to hone in on her one little, issue with the wording that keeps people in jail, something she loves. Okay. And she pretends to do so as if she does care about those communities that we just referenced. It's just so pathetic and lame.
Yeah. And I mean, even the way she's introducing this, what do you call it? The Republican grilling of these mayors. What do they call it?
Like a committee hearing.
Yeah, committee hearing. Even the way she's introducing it, like as if it's actually some substantive, like expose or whatever. Like, no, this is literally just a virtue signal for Republicans to get a bunch of Democratic mayors together and point their fingers and yell at them and say, you're a criminal because you didn't turn in this immigrant. And it's just theatrical. She's not even pointing that out. She's basically just buying into the right-wing framing of the issue, which is something we increasingly see on the Young Turks with every issue.
He has been far more critical in regard to the sanctuary laws that fall under his jurisdiction in New York City. You also had Mike Johnston of Denver, Brandon Johnson of Chicago, and Michelle Wu, who's the mayor of Boston. Now, the definition of sanctuary city isn't exact, but typically it refers to the policies that limit local cooperation with federal immigration agents and authorities. Okay, so the mayors argued that their policies are crucial for ensuring that undocumented immigrants are free to report crimes and access city services without fear that they're going to be deported. Another example, for instance, is if a woman is undocumented and she's been the victim of domestic abuse, she should feel free going to the authorities for safety. If you don't have any sanctuary laws protecting her, well, then she's not going to go to the authorities and she's going to continue getting abused. So again, I just want to reiterate, in those cases, it makes sense. But when you have provisions that protect undocumented individuals who are literally committing crimes, have been convicted of violent crimes, and have spent time in prison for said violent crimes.
And here we have the Vanguard brilliantly dismantling Ana Kasparian's talking points. She's obviously just being completely consumed by right-wing media, by all of these blind spots that come with it. She's hosting a progressive show, news station, and then she's going to say that she doesn't really care about the people, but they're getting deported. She doesn't really care about the immigrants, in the name of wanting to make America good and everything. It's like you just blame. You find somebody to scapegoat. You find somebody to blame for no reason.
It is a problem when ICE reaches out, asks for a detainer, so then they can deport these individuals, and the city doesn't cooperate.
And why might they not do that? Oh, yeah, because they're not cooperating with ICE about anything. Well, Mr. Mayor, Mrs. Mayor, I just want a little bit of a... We're not cooperating with you. We do not the United States doesn't cooperate with terrorism, right? So I believe all of these mayors are operating well within that threshold. We're not going to engage or honor these requests.
Like Gestapo.
Yeah, fucking a secret police in our society. Do you hear what you're advocating for? You know, every once in a while, Gavin, we have to get on our high horse and we have to start reminding everybody that there is such thing as a principle, right? It's about drawing a line in the sand, dude. It's about saying, beyond this line, you do not cross. It's called the principle. Okay, build your fucking house on it, because we're not crossing the goddamn.
So there we have it, you guys. We have the Vanguard calling out Ana Kasparian. It's clear that she has lost her way a long time ago, and now it seems like she's wanting to find a spot on Fox News. You know, it's Ana Kasparian for you. The Vanguard is saving the day as usual. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.